Anyway, in 99, what went away? The .com and rollerblades. I might be a little off on this. All right? 2008, 2009, what went away? The ability for somebody making $30 a year to get a mortgage on a $300,000 house. It all went away. What happened in 2019? The ability to go outside went away, right? And then 2020, everybody get inside. So, what do you guys think is going to happen in 2029? Shout out to all the doctors, though. I keep saying that. All the doctors that have been working on viruses my entire life and diseases. Shout out to that thankless job. As liberals and conservatives and everybody in between that rides on the same boat as you do, just pokes holes in the bottom of it with no background whatsoever. It was one of the more fascinating things. I'm glad that it was, I don't know, as frustrating as it was at times and bored as you got and all the money you lost and all that. It was, you got to admit, if we could just all set aside our difference, it was a pretty fucking wild thing to go through. And I'm going to go on a limb and say none of us handled it that well. I know I didn't. There's a lot of screaming and yelling, but everybody's going to, you watch everybody rewrite history. It was the other side, and we would have solved it if it wasn't really, No. There was one group of people that could solve it, and they were getting heckled the entire time. How come you can't solve it in a year, man? As they quietly walk down AIDS over 40 fucking years. Geniuses. Fucking geniuses. And what do? I sit here talking to myself. Into a microphone. That's what the fuck I do. Well, nameless people sit with lab coats working with germs. I mean, it's fucking amazing. I want to talk to one of them. Like, what's it like to be that smart? And then just, in between getting to work and talking to somebody else that's smart, what's it like to run into somebody like me? Does a part of your soul float away whenever you run into somebody like me and I just say, you know what I think? This is what I think. No, this is what they're doing. I've tried to be a little more even-handed or whatever, but I swear to God, if you go back in the history of this podcast, I mean, I was on board. If you had a conspiracy, send it my way. I am on fucking board. And I went all the way into that, and then I hung out with those people, and I was like, wait, these people are out of their fucking minds too. And then I realized I was out of my mind, and then I was like, is everybody out of their mind? And I was like, I'm going to make my life small. I'm going to stay in my own lane. I like cigars, I like coffee, and old trucks. That's what I talk about. When I'm not pontificating about shit beyond me, right? I believe I called Vladimir Putin Hollywood earlier in this podcast. Whatever. What are you going to do? I have a mouth. I use it. I'm not paying attention to it any more than you are. I hope. Are you on your last set at the gym? Huh? What are you doing? Shoulders. You work in the upper body? I call those ego days. You know what I mean? And when you're doing the fucking... Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. I bet gay guys do more legs than fucking straight guys. You know what I mean? Because we're all walking around, hey, fucking... Because I feel like chicks are always checking out your arms and your chest. Then if you're gay, are gay guys more looking at your ass and thighs? There's a question. There's one I just figured I'd throw out. Do you guys do more squats? See, I ask the difficult questions on this podcast. All right, with that, with this whimper of intellect, let's do some ad reads here, everyone, as I try to sit in a chair and not have one of my feet go numb. What the fuck happens to you in life? This old house was something. All right. Oh, wow. I was just thinking, like, plastic surgery. Is that like something like redoing a house? There's a lot of people doing that now. flipping. Except they're doing it with their body. It's funny, though, but they really do it. Like, plastic surgery is really like flipping a house where you're just doing the exterior, but you're not really fucking with the plumbing or the electrical. That's the shit. That's the thing that they're working towards, I would think, is eternal life. And can you imagine? I mean, it's not going to happen for us, the regulars. But those other people, the people behind the people. Oh, boy, I got the tinfoil hat coming down off the bookshelf. The people behind the fucking people. Like, you explained to me how Dick Cheney is still alive. I mean, back in the day, one other thing, another tip of the cap to doctors, right? And I'm not wishing death on Dick Cheney. I'm just saying that guy had major, major fucking heart issues that would have killed 100 shoe salesmen a week back in the day, and he's still walking around, pheasant hunting. Doesn't he have a fake heart? I don't even know if he does. You know what's amazing about that is, what's great about having a fake heart is when you shoot a friend of yours in the face, it doesn't skip a beat. It just keeps humming along. He was almost emotionless. I wasn't there. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, 27 minutes in. I can put my feet up, especially because my left foot's starting to fall asleep. God help me if whoever fucking writes my health insurance ever listens to this. They're just going to be adding, what do they call those? Pre-existing conditions. Well, if you go back and you listen to his podcast in March of 2023, you'll see that this condition already existed. Objection, Your Honor. My client is a comedian and he exaggerates the truth. Him saying that his left foot was going asleep was a metaphor for how numbed up his feelings were about life. Sustained. Okay, well then we would argue that his negative attitude towards his future is going to cause... They would somehow figure out a way not to pay. Huh? Can you imagine what that must be? Well, can somebody like who has that job, can you just cleanse your soul and write into me? And just be like, have you been in those meetings where they sit there and they try to figure out how they're not going to fulfill what they promised to their policyholders? When they basically say, like, listen, we're in the business of collecting premiums, not paying people in need. That's just what we told them. When the shit hits the fan, we have no intention of giving anybody even remotely what was promised. We're going to play the blame game and say it was an act of God or your policy doesn't cover that. And then the genius part is we're going to use all the money that we collected in good faith. We're going to use a small portion of that to pay the legal fees to defeat all of these innocent people in court. That's the game plan. I just want to know when I know there's a corporate way of saying that without saying it, but I always wonder, do you guys literally do the villain in a B movie after that? Do you all go, "Muah, muah, muah," afterward? Anyway, I don't have any answers, people. I don't have any answers, all right? Other podcasts have answers. All I have is theories, a couple of questions, and a foot that won't stop going numb. Get on your sit bones. I'm on my sit bones. Well, you know what it is? This is sort of a wicker chair. How do you sit on your sit bones in a wicker chair? That's like a Jeopardy question. I am a kind of chair that doesn't help if you're sitting on your sit bones. Carol, what is wicker? What is wicker? What's the deal with wicker? All right, that is the podcast, everybody. Good luck with your March Madness brackets. I hope you get along with everybody that you care about, and I hope people you don't care about, you don't give a fuck about, and you let them fucking live their life away from you. Live that life away from you. That's it. I don't know why. I just want a bucket of fried chicken right now. I have no idea why. I was just thinking, what am I going to do when I get off this podcast? And my brain just said, why don't you go out and get a bucket of chicken? And you know what's funny, too? It was a no-name brand, too. The Colonel's face was not on the side. It was just a white bucket that you already saw the grease like clouds forming on the outside of it. And I was going to sit there. What's the greatest thing about eating a bucket of chicken is not eating the chicken. It's the way you hold the bucket like a newborn baby.